Hello, my name is Jason. This video is about living a chosen life instead of an accidental life. An accidental life is a life lived in fear, doubt, regret of who you've been, and stress and anxiety about the future that may be coming your way. The most important thing that I've discovered is that when we live completely in the now, there is no room for stress, there is no room for worry, for doubt, for frustration, sadness, or depression about our past. There is no room for anything except for pure bliss in each and every moment. I believe this is what Christians refer to as heaven, many others refer to as nirvana, and spirituality refers to as living completely in the now. You know when you're in the now because you feel amazing. There's nothing better in this world than simply being alive in each and every moment. Doesn't matter what's going on around you. Doesn't matter if the world is exploding. You still feel great. I believe this comes easily once you learn the mechanism for being in the moment. The difficulty in finding this place is that many of us have no idea what it feels like to be in the moment. But it's a really simple process to get there. The feeling is really quite easy to understand if you've done anything creative. If you're exercise, if you're a runner, it's that moment when you hit that wall, when your whole body is telling you stop, 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 and you make a choice to continue. When you're drawing, painting, creating a piece of writing or literature, even a piece of music, or playing your favorite song on your guitar, or singing your favorite song in the car, and nothing matters to you at all except for simply doing what you're doing. That is being in the moment. All your fears, all your thoughts drop away, and you become completely absorbed with exactly what it is that you're doing. That is what it feels like to be in the moment. The challenge is to stretch that state of being into each and every moment of your life. Extend that bliss you feel when you're caught up in the moment doing something you love into each and every moment of your life. How do we do this? The framework is simple. You can either exist now, you exist in the future, or you can exist in the past. Or you can oscillate between those three places as most of us do. You know when you're not in the now though, because you're worried about the future, or you're worried about your past. You're feeling depressed or sad about things you've had, regretful about things that you've experienced in the past. So the whole purpose is to become aware of when you're getting caught in the future, where you're getting caught in the past, and then bring your mind, bring yourself back into the now. Now the way we do that is, the way I do that, I should say, is when I get caught up in the future, what I try to do is I go through the scenario I'm imagining, the scenario I'm worried about. I make my peace with that scenario. I release resistance to that possibility by simply hatching a couple of plans for how I'm going to deal with that scenario if it does occur. And I imagine the worst possible outcome of that scenario. Imagine the person that I'm interacting with becoming completely angry, just losing their absolute mind, and me being okay with that. Me understanding that, you know what, even if that person completely loses their mind, I know how to deal with it because I can sit in peace within myself regardless of what they're doing. Therefore, it doesn't really matter what anyone or anything or how anything happens around me. I know that I am capable of dealing with any situation or challenge that life can throw at me. So that relieves all of my future anxiety, allowing me to come back into the now, and maybe I get stuck in the past a little bit after that. Well, how do I deal with that? Very simple. Very, very simple. What is it that you felt in that moment? Did you have an objective viewpoint of what was going on around you? Could you perceive possibly what other people were thinking? Could you imagine how other people could be feeling and what could be causing them to act the way that they were? Because most of the time when someone's doing something, it really has nothing to do with us. Unless they've come to us and said, I'm sorry, Jason, look, this is the way I'm seeing this situation. It really made me feel unwell, and I'm just seeking some resolution. Can you explain to me what was going on for you? Because this is what I experienced and it didn't feel good. Can you please share with me what was going on for you so that I can come to a better understanding of how I was reacting to the situation unnecessarily. When someone approaches you like that, they're pretty much in the now. They understand themselves well enough to say, whatever this other person did, it wasn't really about me. I don't feel good about it, so I need to interact with that person a bit more to come to a greater awareness of myself. That's what they're really seeking in that point in time. When someone comes to you and says, you did this and you did this and I don't like it. Well, most of the time when that's happening, it's because they're projecting something inside of themselves. You've reflected something back at them that they don't really want to face yet. So it's much easier to say, you've done this and you've done this and I don't like you for it, than it is to say, okay, this person is showing me a part of myself that I don't really like. How can I release my resistance to this part of myself, release judgment, release anger about this part, and come to peace within myself once again? See, those are the two choices in dealing with any situation. You can either choose to view what's happening as an external event that you have no control over, or you can choose to view it as a lesson that the universe is providing to you to allow you to shift yourself into greater alignment. Now, when you begin to look at those experiences, those times when you're feeling that way towards somebody, most of the time it's like we have a wound. If you can imagine getting a splinter in your neck or your hand, and what happens if you don't take the splinter out? Well, of course, that wound gets infected and starts to fester and gets more and more tender to the touch. And over time, if you press it and hit it and put more things in there where that splinter already is, it continues to get more and more infected and becomes more tender to the touch. And that's much what happens to us growing up. We have one experience, one very, very dramatic experience that makes us believe something that's not true about ourselves. It makes us believe that we're stupid, or we're unlovable, or we're not worthy of whatever it may be. We're not worthy of having enough money to live our lives in this world. And then what happens over time, because when we had that experience, we couldn't see the big picture. We couldn't see the objective of that view. We only saw our experience of that one viewpoint looking out at this one part of the experience. But as we grow, we're able to shift into an objective experience and view that experience from many different perspectives. And by looking at it from many different perspectives, we begin to realize that those core beliefs that we've created aren't necessarily true. And all they're doing is creating us a lot of pain and suffering. But we don't have to remain in that state of pain and suffering. By releasing our resistance to that experience and finding the positive, finding the silver lining to that cloud, to that negative, seemingly negative experience. Because this is another choice. How do you choose to view your life, as positive or negative? If you choose to view it as a positive experience and look for that shining cloud or shining silver lining around that cloud and focus on that more than you do on the pain, then eventually that pain just disappears. It's like pulling the splinter out. And then eventually that part of you can heal and you can become whole once again. It's a very, very easy, beautiful process. And once you've stepped into the now, this is the best thing I've discovered. It's like peeling back an onion, a never-ending onion. And as you take off one layer of the onion, you get a better sense of what the now is and how good it feels to exist in that space. And then you realize there's another layer there. So you peel off that layer and you get a better sense of what it's like to be in the now. And every time you get that sense of what it's like to be in the now, your idea of what that might feel like expands. And then you start working towards that goal. And eventually your state of being in the now becomes pervasive throughout your whole life. And every moment becomes bliss. Every moment becomes heaven right here on earth. It's taken me quite some time to find my way through this, to reestablish my healed self, to become once again true to myself, and become at peace with everything, and to step into that moment, into the now. And I would like to share what I've learned with everyone who wishes to find out about it. So if you're interested, please contact me on jasonmholden@gmail.com. Or if you're in Australia, I live here in Australia, or we can do Skype, but please contact me on Gmail first, and then we'll set something up from there. This is me saying namaste, and I wish the very best to all of you. Have a wonderful day.